Smoking. It's a habit that's killed millions, yet its allure remains. The first inhale, the feeling of the smoke filling your lungs, can be strangely satisfying. It's a sensory experience, a mix of taste, smell, and even the sight of the smoke curling in the air. For many, that first cigarette brings a sense of relaxation, a calming of the nerves. This pleasurable feeling is the initial hook, the siren song that draws people in. The feeling is fleeting, but it's enough to make someone try another cigarette and then another. This initial attraction is often amplified by social factors, especially among young people. Seeing others smoke, whether it's friends, family, or even celebrities, can make it seem appealing, even glamorous. It's easy to forget the dangers when you're caught up in the moment, seeking that same sense of relief or coolness. The reason behind this initial pleasure and the subsequent addiction lies in a single chemical, nicotine. When inhaled, nicotine enters the bloodstream and rapidly reaches the brain. Here it mimics the actions of a neurotransmitter called acetylcholine, attaching to receptors and triggering a cascade of effects. The result? A surge of dopamine, the feel-good chemical, flooding the brain's reward pathways. This dopamine rush is responsible for the feelings of pleasure and relaxation associated with smoking. It's a powerful feeling, one that the brain quickly associates with the act of smoking. But nicotine's effects go beyond pleasure. It also enhances concentration and alertness, which some smokers find appealing. This is another reason why people continue smoking, as they believe it helps them focus or stay awake. Smoking often goes beyond the individual experience. It becomes a shared ritual, a way to connect with others. Think about it. Smokers gather outside workplaces, in designated areas, or even on street corners. They huddle together, sharing lighters, exchanging stories, and forming bonds over their shared habit. These social interactions, however brief, can create a sense of belonging, especially for those who might feel isolated or excluded. Sharing a cigarette becomes a social currency, a way to break the ice, start a conversation, or simply feel part of a group. The act of smoking itself can also become a social cue. Lighting a cigarette after a meal, offering one to a friend, or even the simple act of tapping a cigarette pack before taking one out. These rituals are all part of a shared language among smokers. Section 4. The body under siege. While smoking might offer temporary pleasure and social connection, its long-term effects on the body are devastating. Over time, the toxins in cigarette smoke wreak havoc on nearly every organ system, leading to a host of serious health problems. The lungs, the primary target of cigarette smoke, bear the brunt of the damage. The delicate air sacs responsible for oxygen exchange become inflamed and damaged, leading to chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, a debilitating condition that makes breathing difficult. But the damage doesn't stop there. Smoking also increases the risk of various cancers, including lung, throat, bladder, and pancreatic cancer. It damages blood vessels, increasing the risk of heart attacks and strokes, and it weakens the immune system, making smokers more susceptible to infections. Section 5. Trapped in a cycle. Why then is smoking so hard to quit? The answer lies in the powerful addictive nature of nicotine. As mentioned earlier, nicotine triggers the release of dopamine in the brain, creating a pleasurable feeling that smokers quickly crave. Over time, the brain adapts to this constant influx of nicotine, requiring higher and more frequent doses to achieve the same effect. This is known as tolerance, and it's a hallmark of addiction. The smoker is caught in a vicious cycle, needing more cigarettes to feel normal and avoid withdrawal symptoms. For young people, the developing brain is particularly vulnerable to nicotine's addictive effects. Studies have shown that adolescents who start smoking are more likely to become addicted than those who start later in life. Section 6. Breaking free. Quitting smoking is one of the hardest things a person can do, but it's also one of the most important. The physical and psychological grip of nicotine addiction is powerful, but it is possible to break free. The first step is acknowledging the problem and making a conscious decision to quit. There are many resources available to help smokers quit, including nicotine replacement therapies, medications, and counseling. Nicotine replacement therapies such as patches, gum, and lozenges provide a controlled dose of nicotine to alleviate withdrawal symptoms. Medications like bupropion and varenicline work by reducing cravings and blocking the pleasurable effects of nicotine. Counseling, both individual and group therapy, provides smokers with the tools and support they need to cope with cravings, manage stress, and develop healthier coping mechanisms. It's important to remember that quitting is a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks along the way, but with determination and support, it is possible to overcome this addiction. Gap 3S, Section 7, The Science of Addiction. Understanding the biochemical processes behind nicotine addiction can provide valuable insights into why quitting is so challenging. Let's dive into the brain to see what happens when nicotine enters the body. Visual animation of a person taking a drag from a cigarette, followed by a zoom in to the brain. When you inhale cigarette smoke, nicotine rapidly enters your bloodstream and reaches your brain within seconds. Once there, it binds to nicotinic acetylcholine receptors, which are part of the brain's reward system. Visual animation of nicotine molecules binding to receptors in the brain. This binding triggers the release of dopamine, a neurotransmitter that creates feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. It's the same chemical that gets released during enjoyable activities, like eating your favorite food or listening to music. This burst of dopamine reinforces the behavior, making you want to repeat it. Visual brain activity showing the release of dopamine and the pleasure centers lighting up. But that's not the whole story. Over time, your brain adapts to the constant influx of nicotine by reducing the number of receptors or making them less responsive. This means you need more nicotine to achieve the same pleasurable effects, leading to tolerance and increased consumption. Visual animation showing the reduction of receptors and the increased demand for nicotine. When you try to quit, your brain craves the dopamine rush it has become accustomed to, causing withdrawal symptoms like irritability, anxiety, and strong cravings. These symptoms are your brain's way of begging for more nicotine to restore its chemical balance. Visual person experiencing withdrawal symptoms with animated brain activity highlighting the craving centers. Understanding these processes can empower you to fight back. Knowledge is a powerful tool in the battle against addiction. It helps you recognize that the cravings are not a sign of weakness, but a natural response to a biochemical imbalance that can be corrected over time. Visual transition to hopeful imagery, like a brain gradually returning to its normal state. Stay tuned as we explore the incredible benefits of overcoming this addiction in the next section, Gap 3S, Section 8, A Breath of Fresh Air. Gap 3S, Section 8, Stories of Quitting. Quitting smoking is a journey, and every journey has its own unique story. Today we'll hear from real people who have successfully quit smoking, sharing their experiences, challenges, and triumphs. Visual montage of diverse faces all smiling. Visual interview set up with a faceless silhouette representing each person. Voice 1. I smoked for over 20 years. It wasn't easy, but I knew I had to quit for my health and my family. The first few weeks were tough, but I kept reminding myself why I started this journey. Visual before and after visuals of the same person looking healthier and happier. Voice 2. I tried to quit multiple times before I finally succeeded. The cravings were intense, but I found strength in my support group. They reminded me that I wasn't alone and that I could do it. Visual animated text of a motivational quote. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Lao Tzu. Voice 3. Setting small achievable goals helped me stay on track. Every day without a cigarette was a victory, and with each passing day I felt stronger and more determined. Visual before and after visuals of another person, showing improved physical activity and energy levels. Voice 4. I used to feel winded just walking up the stairs. Now I can run, bike, and play with my kids without getting out of breath. Quitting smoking gave me my life back. Visual animated text of another motivational quote. Believe you can and you're halfway there. Theodore Roosevelt. Voice 5. It's not just about quitting smoking, it's about reclaiming your life. The freedom, the health, the happiness, it's all worth it. If I can do it, so can you. Visual. Montage of all the interviewees together, smiling and looking proud. Voiceover. These stories remind us that quitting smoking is possible and that the rewards are life-changing. Each person's journey is different, but the destination is the same, a healthier, happier life. Stay inspired, stay committed, and remember you are not alone in this journey. Gap 3S, Section 9, A Breath of Fresh Air. Section 7, A Breath of Fresh Air. The benefits of quitting smoking are numerous and profound. Within minutes of putting out that last cigarette, the body begins to heal itself. Heart rate and blood pressure drop, carbon monoxide levels in the blood decrease, and circulation improves. Over time, the lungs begin to repair themselves, and the risk of smoking-related diseases decreases dramatically. But the benefits extend beyond physical health. Quitting smoking also improves mental health, reducing stress, anxiety, and depression. It improves sleep quality, enhances taste and smell, and boosts energy levels. And it can even save you money, as the cost of cigarettes adds up quickly. Quitting smoking is a gift you give yourself and those around you. It's a testament to your strength, resilience, and commitment to a healthier, happier life. So take that first step, seek support, and breathe easier knowing that you're on the path to a smoke-free future.